time is changing, or rather, the way in which we perceive time to be moving is changing at a really rapid pace. This is because many of us collectively, and specifically those of you who have aligned with this video, who have found this video, have jumped onto a brand new timeline. Now, I spoke on this in a recent reading video because this is something that you're going to be feeling. The way that this timeline shifts manifests for you personally may differ from how it manifests for another person, but regardless, there has been this massive shift that's taken place. So in today's reading video, we are going to be jumping into exactly what is going on with this timeline shift that so many of you are experiencing, why time might feel like it's moving a bit differently, whether things around you simply look different, people might be interacting with you slightly differently that you've known for a long time. There are so many different signs and symptoms that you have shifted timelines, and if you are interested in that specifically, let me know in the comments, because that really could be spoken about in an entirely separate video. But for the purposes of this reading video, let's just say things around you might be looking different, feeling different in some way that's subtle enough it's hard to put into words or describe, and yet drastic enough that it might cause you to feel a little disoriented, a little off kilter. You might have moments where things around you or people or some situation just almost feels surreal. You wonder, is this really happening? Or something about it just has a different kind of color or flavor than typical reality. I guess that's the best way to say it. Do let me know, by the way, in the comments if you have personally experienced this kind of difference in the way that you are perceiving or experiencing reality recently, especially within the last few weeks of when you have found this reading video. Because of course, time does not exist at the level of energy. So whenever you found this video, it has aligned with you for a reason. If you would like me to channel specifically for you and your situation, be sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. These actions are forms of energetic transference, and whenever we exchange energy in this way, it allows me to pick up more clearly on your frequency and therefore your current situation. So let's start today with the Energy Oracle cards deck. By the way, if you're tuned in to the live chats, I would love for you to chat with us here if you're here for the live premiere. I do these live premiere readings every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you are here for the live chat, a special thank you to you for tuning in and sharing your very powerful and beautiful energetic frequency with our community. I would love to hear where you're tuning in from. It's really beautiful how we are all specifically and strategically planted in different geographical locations for the purpose of illuminating different portions of collective consciousness. And for some reason, I'm just feeling guided to say, if you've been feeling a bit lost or a bit lonely lately, specifically because of where you have been planted, whether that's in a particular family, a home, a space, a social environment, a relationship, whatever it is, know that everything serves a purpose, and really everything is serving you at this higher level in some way, serving your growth, serving your evolution. You are here for a reason. You are planted here for a reason. Nothing is going wrong here. I don't know why. I just felt that someone may have had some feelings of anxiety coming up of what am I doing here in this connection or relationship or family or social group or job, whatever the case is, know that everything you are connected to, everything you found yourself placed within, is serving some type of purpose for both your growth and evolution, as well as the growth and evolution of us as the one mind, the collective whole as well. Now, the first card we have coming out here is man holding a coin in the reverse position, but another card flew out way far away from the deck, so give me a moment to grab that. And this card is rest and rejuvenation reversed. So with these two cards together, the first thing I'm picking up for some divine feminines who are listening, which of course, as we always say, these labels, divine masculine, divine feminine, are meant to describe energies. So they aren't necessarily connected to gender or sexuality, but I am picking up a masculine who is very connected to a divine feminine energy. And many of us as divine feminines who are collectively shifting onto this brand new timeline are forging a pathway for many of the divine masculines. Particularly, what I'm picking up for whoever this message is for, which of course, do keep in mind, I channel many different people, messages, and pieces of information through these readings, so only take what resonates with you personally. But I am getting that there is, for some divine feminine here, a masculine who is, I'm hearing his spiritual growth and evolution is connected to yours. It's like your spiritual paths are very much intertwined. And because of this intertwining of your spiritual paths, it also means that you are connected on every timeline. Now, I've spoken on this before in recent videos and readings, and I can share more on this in the future as well. But the thing about these timelines is most people in collective consciousness remain attached to one specific timeline for an entire lifetime. They might shift timelines slightly mid-lifetime, and very often we will refer to this as a midlife crisis. This isn't really a crisis point as much as a very common moment in Earth life when humans will shift onto a different timeline. But even in these cases, for those who are less spiritually conscious, less awakened, even when they go through that so-called midlife crisis, which of course is just a judgment word, really that midlife timeline shift, it's usually fairly small compared to what we will go through when we are on a path of spiritual consciousness and spiritual awakening. So as those of us who are awakening, you might be someone who feels as though you've been through a quote-unquote midlife crisis 10 times, 15 times, or it happens almost every year, where you have these almost existential crisis point moments, or rather moments that feel like a crisis point to your ego, but are actually getting you onto a new timeline. This is because when we spiritually awaken with the attachment card reversed coming out here, we are no longer attached to one particular timeline. So we are more free floating, and our timeline then becomes dictated by our current vibration. So as we shift our vibrational frequency, which again usually happens fairly quickly and frequently as someone who is spiritually awakened and continuously expanding, we then continue to shift onto new timelines. And this really complicates our relationships and connections, because what I'm picking up about whoever I'm reading for here, you might feel like you change, friendships change, social groups change, connections, relationships frequently. Now, for some of you with love and romance, there may be certain individuals you felt very connected to through many of these different shifts in timelines, this is because these are part of your soul family in some way. So when we are on this path of spiritual awakening, it becomes very difficult to maintain any non-soul based connections and even platonic connections, even friendships. The reason for this is we are shifting timelines so frequently that usually the only ones who can keep up with us, so to speak, are the ones with whom we are connected at a deeper core soul level. So most people build many of their relationships and connections simply by the landscape of their current timeline, their current reality. But when you're one who is spiritually awakening, these landscapes are constantly changing. Therefore, these non-soul based timeline attached connections are constantly changing. In fact, you might find that one day you align with a certain person, you might meet someone at work or when you're out and about, and you might make plans with this person, and then suddenly it's as though those plans fall through, or it's almost like you're kind of weaving out in and out of each other's timelines or consciousnesses. And it's kind of a strange experience, whereas there are these few connections that just seem to stick with you. And that is what it's like when you are one like you are on this highly advanced and accelerated path of spiritual awakening. I just really felt that someone listening may have needed to hear that piece of information. Now, in the extended version of the reading, I will be sharing more information for whoever I'm connecting with here about these kind of perpetual timeline shifts you're going through, but specifically this major timeline shift you've gone through recently, more information on how this might be continuously changing your life at this present moment. Again, the present as of whenever you are finding and connecting with this video. I know I spoke on this in a recent reading video as well, but the thing about this timeline shift is my guides urged me to speak on it again because things are continuing to change very, very quickly. So there's a lot of us who are having somewhat confusing experiences because of these timeline shifts, especially when it comes to our connections and for many of us, love and relationships as well. So we will be diving deeper into how those shifts may be affecting you and your connections at present moment in the extended version of the reading on Patreon, which is linked in the pinned comment and description box under this video. One thing I will say about these timeline shifts with action and the crown chakra upright is that they are spiritually pushing things forward very fast. Specifically, I feel this timeline shift, especially if you're a divine feminine listening, it's pushing you into some kind of spiritual purpose or mission at this time. I'm seeing something about your eyes. So this literally could be your eyes. You might be someone with very mesmerizing or beautiful eyes. You might be someone that carries a lot of light in your eyes, or this also could simply be symbolic of you being really focused, having your sights focused on something when it comes to your spiritual path, purpose, or mission. And that's part of what this recent major timeline shift has been about. It's been about really pushing you into that. I feel like, I don't want to say it's pushing you there for the first time because I feel you've been on this path for a long time, but it's really beginning to, I'm hearing to manifest it in full force now. Again, we will be diving more into that in the extended reading also, but I did want to share that little message with some of you as well. So let's talk a bit more to this divine masculine or masculine, depending on whether this is a twin flame, a high soulmate connection, high level soulmate connection for you, or some other form of, I do feel it's some kind of love connection. This is a counterpart type soul who is connected in with your spiritual purpose and mission in some way. This could simply be the mission to activate you, to awaken you, to expand you so that then you can align with your truest version of self. I'm hearing you know each other so well at a deep spiritual level, meaning you've lived many lifetimes together. You share a deep spiritual bond. So just by seeing each other in the physical 3D world, just by connecting in some way, you remind each other who you really are at a core soul level. So yeah, this is feeling like a very high vibrational soulmate or a twin flame. Healer of the ages, upright. With rest and rejuvenation reversed, I feel that this masculine's 3D self has had a lot of trouble sleeping lately because he's lying awake, doing a lot of thinking. I feel that a lot of this thinking revolves around you, Divine Feminine. It also feels with Healer of the Ages upright that although your connection to one another might look very chaotic at times in the physical worlds, it feels as though at a deeper level, the two of you are healing each other and you're each other's greatest healer, but also each other's greatest expander with the World card upright. My guides keep reinforcing that this expansion and this healing is happening between the two of you, even if you aren't physically 3D connected, and even if you no longer desire to physically 3D connect with this masculine. It feels like it's your energetic essences essentially that are involved with each other, that are shifting each other in a sense that you're always going to be connected at that deeper energetic level. But it does feel like you have a lot of choices about how this is going to look in the physical 3D world. In fact, for some of you, this may be someone who is... For some of you, this could be a person, a masculine who is not in physical form. This could be someone who chose to not incarnate, but that you've always felt connected to. You've always felt working with you spiritually in the higher realms. For others of you, this could be someone who has already transitioned into the spiritual realm that you knew earlier on in your life. I don't know why I'm getting that message. It's really strange. I don't normally bring that through, and I know that won't connect with most people. That feels like it might just connect with a few people listening here. With all tied up in the reverse position, it feels like whenever one of you is feeling stuck in a loop, ready to break free of something, and I'm talking at a really deep unconscious level. It's not like your physical human self necessarily will say, I'm ready to break free of this, I'm ready for the next level, although some of you, especially Divine Feminines, may consciously register that. But it feels like this is your souls being magnetically drawn back together whenever there is a next level for you to break into. It feels like the two of you, I'm hearing your cycle breakers, so maybe generational curse breakers, maybe cycle breakers in the sense that you break each other out of heavy karmic patterns or cycles that each of you might become stuck in your physical lifetime. And here we have the garden and the gate in the upright position. So the confusing thing for the Divine Feminine connected in with this situation is, whereas you have this really deep recognition that you and this masculine are profoundly spiritually connected with the healer and the world card, you are each other's greatest healer, activator, expander. And I feel that Divine Feminine as the more heightened one spiritually and energetically, you are even more consciously aware of this energetic bond than your masculine counterpart. However, confusingly at times, with the garden and the gate, this card speaks to self-protection, to keeping yourself protected, and perhaps a bit aloof from this person or situation in the physical 3D world. So the confusing thing that you're going through, whoever I'm connecting with here, you, Divine Feminine, feel the intense spiritual connectedness to this person. You sense how profoundly you are impacting, shifting, healing, activating one another spiritually, and yet you're also one who is very connected to your own intuition. And at this moment in time, your intuition is telling you to hold your ground about something, to maybe not jump in and make a decision about this person, meaning to not throw yourself back into some kind of 3D full-blown connection with them. I sense this hesitancy, this, I keep wanting to say guardedness, but guardedness sounds defensive, sounds heart closed, and that's very much not the case. You are someone who has a very warm and open and activated heart center. It's just that I sense lately when it comes to this masculine's physical form, although you're very much aware of the physical, or rather the energetic connection, the bond that you share with this person. I was just reaching down to grab a card, and of course the card is man holding a coin reversed once again, speaking to the fact you are aware that this masculine is still in his process of opening, awakening, healing himself, merging his physical 3D identity with that soul identity. I feel you, Divine Feminine, know and are very much aware of. It's the complication of being so spiritually connected with someone whose soul you can so clearly see. You see this masculine soul and he sees yours. And yet you're also aware that something about his physical 3D form still feels a bit unbalanced at this time. And you're aware that your number one priority on your current timeline and to remain in alignment with your higher spiritual path, purpose, and mission, your number one priority has to be to remain focused and to remain clear energetically and to hold those higher vibrations and step into that new beginning with the Sun card upright, which you might find challenging to do when you try to connect yourself back in the 3D with the somewhat dense and heavy energy dynamics this masculine is still healing and shifting through. So in the extended version of the reading, I will be sharing more about those specific dynamics potentially that the masculine here is dealing with. Any messages as well, Divine Feminine, from your guides, from your higher self, about your current spiritual mission, purpose, and path, especially for those of you who may have been guided to kind of close off access to yourself a bit in 3D from this masculine to whom you're very much connected. So the link to those extended messages is in the pinned comment and description box under the video. But for now, I do want to see if we can pull any final messages for this reading. Let's head over to the Starseed Oracle. I remember, soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. And we have a few more cards as well. Okay, so here we have weight, portal, and your life is a canvas. And with this your life is a canvas card, I'm hearing that in one way or another you are an artist. Whether you traditionally consider yourself to be an artist, you are one who weaves energy and vibration and frequency into something physical, material, and that is art. Whether it's written words, whether it's speaking, creating something related to work or business, or whether that's traditional art forms. But I'm picking up that there is this really strong connection between your ability to continue creating in this way, to weaving energy into physical form in this way, and your throat chakra. So it feels that keeping your throat chakra wide open and clear is really essential to continuing along your spiritual purpose and path of weaving energy through your art, whatever that is for you. I'll just shorthand refer to it as art, but again, it could be so many different things. And specifically, I'm hearing the energy of truth. It's really important to remain connected with your internal truth, your intuition, to have the courage also to speak, to express that truth, and to hold others accountable to the truth as well, to not feed into what your intuition is telling you is inconsistent or is not true. And I don't know why I'm feeling guided to share this, but I do feel that in the past, especially the divine feminines listening, you may have felt that you needed to deny your intuition or deny your voice, to sacrifice that for someone else. Even potentially for some of you, this could have been a sacrifice you made for that masculine you're very much connected to. But the way you've been shifted is such that you can no longer sacrifice your inner connection to your own truth. And by the way, you're someone who can very much recognize the truth. You can hear and sense and feel the truth. Others are very transparent to you because you have a way of sensing the energy of truth. But again, I do feel that in order to remain connected to certain others, you may have been convinced away from remaining so connected to that energy of the truth. But you are now being guided back into that reconnection. You're being taught that remaining connected to the energy of your internal truth is extremely vital for continuing to infuse so much clarity and power into your creations in this life. With the card Weight sitting on the sacral chakra, it's not time yet. Things are being woven. And this is really sitting on the seat of intimacy, of vulnerability. And what I'm feeling from a divine feminine here is a sense of longing for deeper connectedness, especially potentially romantically. But for others, this could be platonic. This desire for deep vulnerability, for companionship with either someone romantically or people around you generally. But it might feel confusing at times because while you long for this deeper companionship, you also might feel guarded. Again, that Garden in the Gate card. You might not feel like it's the time or the person, or that the person isn't healed or open enough for you to be able to develop that companionship or open up in that way. And I feel your spirit guides coming through with this message simply to trust the timing of the coming together of all of this, to know that when it's time for you to magnetically connect with another soul, either platonically or romantically, you will know, because again, you have that very strong connection to your internal compass, to your intuition. You will know when the time is right. And I do sense that potentially because of societal programs or limiting belief systems, someone I'm tapping into here might be at times feeling restless, like, shouldn't I be there already? Shouldn't I have this connection or these connections? But I feel your guide saying if something feels blocked, it's because something better is coming. Take that as it resonates. Now, for some of you, this could be with the same person. It might feel blocked with one person, but that's because something better is being preserved with that same person. For others of you, of course, this could be entirely different. This could be something being blocked with a particular person because a new person has or is meant to enter your life. So, of course, your intuition is always the compass of your soul. Listen to that above all else when determining which of these messages are meant for you and which might be for others. But the one dominant theme here with the card Portal is doors are opening. You decide. Rewards, wild card. And I feel this speaks to this massive shift that's taken place. And once again, this has just been reiterated in so many readings, but it feels necessary to say again that you are the conscious creator of your life experience. And it feels like because you've done the inner work, you really have a lot of opportunities. I'm hearing very positive opportunities beginning to open up for you on this new timeline. And here we have the Celestial Rose of Ma. So I'm just going to read a little bit from the guidebook to close out this reading before, of course, we head over to the extended reading. Whatever your thorns are or have been, be willing to deal with them, to face them, and most importantly, to release them without any shred of doubt, shame, guilt, or recrimination, beloved. They have served your purpose, and their purpose has been completed. The Celestial Rose of Ma promises a gift worth so much more than any pain you are holding on to. So release to receive now. Those thorns have served their purpose, not in and of themselves, but rather that they have proven you worthy of the rose and ready now to receive its beauty, healing, and grace. So this feels like a really beautiful place to close the first reading here on YouTube. Of course, now we will be heading over to the extended Patreon reading, and there I will be channeling more in-depth messages about what to expect from this major timeline shift that you are continuing to feel the effects from, how this masculine who I sense is connected to you, is involved with you, what is going on in that situation, as well as in his own energy field. Also, any messages from your spirit guides, your higher self, whatever divine forces you personally connect with, and anything else that wants to come through that reading as well. So, for those of you who feel guided to it, the link to the extended reading is in the pinned comment and description box under the video. But for now, I am going to close this reading here. I am sending you all so much love, wishing you a beautiful day, and I will talk to you again in Friday's reading.